Good morning. This is Keloland on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
The South Dakota Highway Patrol says no travel is advised on I-90 from Humboldt to Sioux Falls. The agency posted these pictures of conditions on the interstate to social media. Vehicles were getting stuck on the road due to drifted snow. High winds are creating low visibility in the area. With more than a foot of snow in the forecast for parts of Keloland, street departments from Yankton to Mitchell to Sioux Falls are dealing with heavy snowfall. In Sioux Falls, Street Division Manager Dustin Hansen says both staffing and equipment are in better shape than they were last storm. He says crews will focus on emergency snow routes first, then head into residential areas.
Anytime you've already got 20 plus inches on the ground, one of the biggest things is just making sure that all our equipment is up and running. We have enough operators to come in to fill each shift. You always struggle a little bit around the holidays and with vacations and sickness and kids being out with sickness and things like that. So we kind of struggled over the holidays, but now we're in the new year, got most people back.
Hansen says cars parked on streets become an even bigger problem in deeper snow, so he asked people to be vigilant about moving them. Meanwhile, snow removal companies have been working around the clock for nearly a month with these continued snowstorms. Lawn and Snow Company has been in business in the Sioux Falls area for more than a decade and says they've never had such a hard time finding employees. They say they could hire at least a dozen more workers for shoveling or snow blowing at $40 an hour, but can't find help. It's why they recently invested in new machinery that helps make the workload easier on their smaller fleet of workers.
It's a snow raider is what it's the first year we've had them, and it saves a lot on manpower, which is why we're investing in them, because it's so hard to find people to work.
In long-lasting snowstorms, snow removal companies have a list of properties they have to clear out at least 5 times throughout the day while it's still snowing. That means the bills for customers this snowy winter are piling up too. Now let's get a check of our current conditions with meteorologist Scott Munt. The wind picking up and plenty of snow out there, Scott.
Plenty of snow, plenty of heavy snow too. Don't be surprised to hear some thunder along with it as we go through the morning hours. The snow will slowly start to taper off later this afternoon. A lot of this will fall during the morning. I want to take you through this hour by hour as we go over the next couple of hours here. Southeastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa, and Minnesota will have the heaviest of the snow, and that is falling where you do see some of those yellows coming back to the model from Freeman to Scotland near Beersford. This is at 9 o'clock this morning. These will eventually move to the north. That's 10 o'clock. And by 11 o'clock, expect another heavier band probably over Sioux Falls. As we go into the afternoon, then the snow will slowly start to taper off. I think a lot of the snow accumulations will happen during the morning hours, and it will be heavy. We are looking at additional snowfall amounts over a foot in Mitchell, 8 to 12 inches in Sioux Falls. That's on top of the 5.5 that fell yesterday, and we have numerous winter storm warnings south central into eastern South Dakota. Brian Carsons will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. To stay informed on changing weather, you can do it through our Keloland Storm Tracker app. You can download it for free to your smart devices. You can receive weather alerts and check out the 7-day forecast to stay on top of this winter storm. If you take pictures of the snow and ice in your area, we'd like to see them. Just email them to youshare@keloland.com or message us on our Facebook page. And whether it's strong winds or freezing rain, winter storms bring an increased risk of power outages. If one happens in your home, there's a few things to keep in mind. To conserve heat, close off rooms not being used, dress in layers of loose-fitting, lightweight, warm clothes, and stuff towels or rugs under cracks under doors and windows if there is a draft. And if you need to hook up a generator, make sure it's placed in a well-ventilated area to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Dealing with a broken refrigerator, a stolen car, and a flooded office apartment is enough to make anyone stress out. For one family in Parkston, though, all that happened in the span of 1 week. Despite the craziness, Tim Weidenbach and his family still found time to help others by donating gifts to Lower Brule and helping a stranded family.
Those things that happened, we're still okay, and we're still able to help a lot of people throughout the holiday season.
To find out why Weidenbach has stayed so optimistic as we begin 2023, visit the story on Keloland.com. If you love burgers, you'll have plenty to choose from in downtown Sioux Falls this month.
The 10th annual Burger Battle is happening now through the end of the month. 32 restaurants competing this year, and it's a timely boost for business.
January and February really slow down. Having something interesting to be a part of downtown makes this the hub. You know, they want to be down here.
Head to this story right here on KELOLAND.com to see the burgers in this year's battle.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right. Well, as we look at these cameras this morning, look at 41st Street here in the 7 o'clock hour. Snow, blowing snow. We have zero visibility in the rural areas around Sioux Falls. I just want to show you again how things have been tracking. And I know as this broadcast is posted here online within the hour, we've had really some pretty strongly worded statements from the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Department about responding to multiple stranded motorists. No travel is recommended. This story is just going to continue to expand today. You notice that lightning strike, too, near Beaver Creek and Laverne there on the animation of the radar? That as well will be part of the discussion today. So it all adds up. On the maps, we have winter storm warnings from central Nebraska all the way through Winter, Gregory. By the way, the snow piling up there, roads impassable in the Gregory area. And I think that these roads, they're just going to continue to get worse. I mean, there's little working for us here since we've got wind picking up. We've got such intense snowfall rates on the backside of this low pressure area. Let's examine those two items here. Futurecast update, you can see that snow in blue and right through mid-morning. I mean, it's a pretty solid band here. You've got some incorporated snowfall rates of at least 2 inches an hour, some cases maybe even just a little more than that. And it's still going to be wrapping around even this afternoon, although the tendency here by midday is to kind of switch and see more of the snow rotating in from the north, and that'll kind of finish us up here this afternoon. I do think that as we get toward the overnight, the snowfall rates will taper off even more. The wind, while it is not a widespread windstorm, there have been in some embedded pockets, even around Sioux Falls, where we've been gusting to 40 miles per hour this morning. And Futurecast still suggests that even through 1 o'clock. So we've got to be mindful of that, you know, even looking at this heavy snow band, there is some wind with it, pushing that snow sideways and creating additional drifting. The wind outlook tonight is probably steady at about 30 and probably tapers off a little bit tomorrow. So that's at least some encouraging news. Hopefully that pacing comes in at a good clip there. Here's our storm total of snowfall. We had 5.5 yesterday in Sioux Falls. So we're doing the math. We think we could make a foot. We could go more than that, but that seems to be kind of that general range, a foot to 16 inches. And then we look at Mitchell. Around that area, we've had several reports that started the day already at 8 to 10. Now, the Yankton area has been catching up. Winter had quite a bit yesterday, about 7 or 8, and then they're adding as well, or have been this morning. But that timeline there is a lot faster shut off. And Minnesota, you're just getting started. You've got more on the way. We had some heavy snow yesterday over toward Edgerton and some spots in some narrow bands, but this will expand today. So stay home if you can. We really want to highly discourage travel when we talk about snow amounts like that. Good news is if you're done with snow, well, at least some of us are, I'm sure, as we look at this forecast, it'd be kind of nice to get a break, and we'll get that Thursday, Friday, into the weekend. Nothing terribly cold, probably highs in the teens here Thursday through Saturday. Well, it's a busy morning. There's a lot of continuing coverage with the lightning, the snow, and all of the announcements on Clothesline. Continue to check in with our latest forecasts. Of course, we've got details online at KELOLAND.com. Again, stay with us here throughout the day, and we'll continue to update you on the latest weather.